Today we're going to be looking at basic bridge types, and then we'll actually focus on beam bridges, which is just one of those types. But all the bridges of the world can be broken down into 7 basic categories, and those categories are beam bridges, truss bridges, arches, cantilevers, suspension, cable stayed, and tied arch. Most bridge challenges don't involve suspension bridges or cable stayed. The physics of how they're supported requires cables or strings or that sort of thing to be attached, and that's much more involved with trying to do those. So we're going to be concentrating on the beam, the truss, and the arch and the cantilever over some of these challenges, and today in particular for the beam. So the first thing you'll want to do is do a quick Google search on just types of bridges. There are lots of charts available that show these 7 different bridges that we just talked about, and that will give you and your students a really quick overview of the different types of bridges. And it's kind of nice to simplify that concept into, of all the bridges in the world, they're all going to essentially going to fall into one of these categories. So that kind of simplifies our thinking a little bit. And then once we've seen what the range of those are, we're going to focus this time on beam bridges. They're the easiest to build in real life, and they also are the easiest to build with Kiva planks. And you may want to talk about either as they're getting started or before they get started, just what the definition of a beam bridge is, and that's having a horizontal member, usually it's a board or it's steel, that sort of thing, and that is supported on each end. For this very first activity, we're not looking for a big, elaborate bridge. We just want to get the concept of what that beam bridge is. So I would just give 5 minutes or so for this. You can actually build a beam bridge with Kiva planks in about 5 seconds, just by two planks and one going over the top, and you can be done. Encourage your students to continue building to as long as they have that, whatever that time constraint is with 5 minutes or whatever that is. So they keep building on their bridge, make it more interesting or wider or whatever they can do with that. Don't just stop at the moment they've built that bridge. After your 5 minutes or whatever your time frame was up, do the gallery walk, which we've talked about before, so that everyone can observe what others have built. There may be a lot of similarity in these because there won't be how much time, and these are quite simple bridges. So that's sort of the intro activity. And then the second phase of this is to get into a little bit more elaborate designs with this. And so either you can look in books or you can do a search ahead of time. You can pull up hundreds of pictures of bridges all around the world, and some of them will be very simple. A beam bridge can be as simple as a piece of wood going across a little creek that you just step across, and that's all there is to it, and that would be a beam bridge. But they can also be elaborate by looking at a lot of different images from around the world that will quickly expand what their starting concept of maybe what they think a bridge is. And so then once they've had a chance to look at some of those, the challenge now would be you can design your own beam bridge, and you have more time now to think it through and what you might want to do, or maybe choose one of the images that you've seen in the book or online and maybe try to duplicate a specific bridge that you've seen. I would suggest maybe 10 to 30 minutes for this challenge, depending on how much time you have and how many planks you have. You can work by themselves or with others, however you choose to do that. And at the end of that time, you'll do the gallery walk. And this one will be more interesting than the first because they'll have more time to have built a lot of different sorts of designs. Beam bridges, you could totally revisit this challenge and do virtually the same thing and challenge them to maybe revise what they had built before or try an entirely different style. At another time challenge, we are going to be doing virtually the same structure as far as the lesson plan or the challenges for the classroom, but we'll just be focusing another time on truss bridges or cantilevers. And it won't take very much planning, but we'll be able to see entirely different types of bridges as we work our way through these. Hope you've enjoyed this, and so until next time, build a bridge, build a mind, and I'll see you again.